let me open this.
Right.
This is about that
Yeah,
email you sent, yeah?
Here's what I wanted to do today, just real quick. I'm going to start further down the road. I'm sorry. Did y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. So I just wanted to kind of give us a quick overview on AI, what it is, kind of catch Jared up with, modern times and all that. So let me share my screen here real quick. And I'm going to try to keep this relatively brief.
I'm old school, Chad. You know that.
Old.
We call that analog now.
Yep. I just wrote a note with a pencil, by the way. I actually used a pencil.
That is the most analog.
Yesterday in the training, I was telling them about AI, or the day before, whatever day it was. And they compared it to Mad Libs. And I did not know what Mad Libs was. And they were like, it's just like Mad Libs. And I did not know what it was. And they all like bought me a bunch of Mad Libs books.
That
Oh my
is
gosh, those were like the best.
Yeah.
That
I was
is
like, I don't
so epic.
Mad Libs were fun.
I was like, I have no clue what Mad Libs are. And
They
they're
don't
like,
do
what?
those anymore
Oh my
when you put the word,
God.
like we did them in school.
I didn't know what Mad Libs was.
Bella, I liked you so much.
Ugh.
No, just
Wow.
But guys, for example, what I have up on the screen, I hope, should say like CB Chad Burton up at top.
Yep.
Corner circle.
Mhm.
To your Mad Libs, I started playing with AI, and me, I got ahead of myself, and so I built this, and this is basically a Mad Lib way to build a prompt to go get yourself an itinerary based on a client qualification worksheet. So Bella, to what you're mentioning, Mad Libs, while it was chiseled in stone and all that, was a pretty cool way of interjecting information into a sentence to make it funny, to make it meaningful. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing here, is interjecting some information. So let's back up all the way to the beginning. It started with this son of a bitch right here, and I called it that because it's consumed my life. Folks, I want to tell you this. I know I say some trippy stuff now. I want to tell you that in my experience, I've been a geek since geeks existed. Okay, I've seen 300 baud modems. I remember green letters coming across like this. I remember seeing the internet get connected in San Francisco for financial I've seen some shit. I would put AI in terms of importance to humanity, probably, and this was some careful consideration, someplace between the printing press and electricity. That's how significant this is. And much like many inventions are more meaningful than they might first appear on the surface, nothing has been this bigger than it looks ever. It's a simple command prompt. So you can go in there and ask it all kinds of stuff. Explain a brief history of time to a fifth grader. Then rewrite as a college freshman. Okay, so we see here long ago, people notice the sun rises and sets, fifth grader, right? The concept of time has fascinated humanity throughout history. You can see right there the tone changes.
Yeah.
Just by telling it that it's a different entity. So this is what I call pre-prompting or avataring. We're creating somebody we're talking to, and then who are we speaking from is another question. But let me just show you some quick examples here of just some powerful things you can do. I don't want you to remember anything I'm showing you. I just want you to kind of get the idea. Show me demographics for people living in the 93420 zip code in a simple and easy to read table. Now, Bella, back in the day, there was these things called typewriters. And if you wanted to make a table, that was stuff you had to take about 1.5 years worth of typing classes just to be able to do that. Deborah's down there nodding, she remembers. Just putting this in CSS style sheets, like what we do on web pages all day long. It's not easy. Okay. It's able to represent this information as you describe it. And it's able to speak in your tone. Folks, I think I've told all of you this, but it bears repeating. First of all, I should be recording this. Can you hit record for me, Amber?
It's
Um,
recording.
I think it was recording.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, it is. Okay.
It's recording.
So,
Oh, wait. Let me double check that because it's not showing.
Mine shows-
recording. Does
Mine
it?
shows recording. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's hidden by your file size client, FileZilla client.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah, we're
it's
recording.
able to present information in the manner that you described. So one of our first tools that we brought out was well, that's not working well, is it? Yay. Okay, so one of the first tools we deployed was a content genie. The idea here, folks, is Bella, it's like I was telling you the other day. How do you get somebody over fear of heights? Put a ladder in the room and have them step on the first rung. It's that easy. So fear is something we're going to have to address. Oh, my job's being replaced. Oh, this is too powerful. Jared, oh, I'm not techie. This is the opposite of techie. Everything that a non-techie person ever wanted to be able to do with a computer, they can now do because they don't have to talk computerese. They just talk plain old English. So for example, this here is the bio genie. I wanted to start with the content genie. This is really simple, man. Let's say this is a description of the vendor prompt packs. They come with those descriptions, right? Pop it in here. Now, Billy, you understand why the keywords are there, but sometimes we want to optimize for a particular keyword they might have thematically throughout their marketing. That's probably 2% of our agents. Okay, but we can tell them that, hey, if you're a cruise specialist, try to include this. And then tone of voice. Play with your tone of voice. There's a difference between funny, comedic, witty, and clever, for example. Okay, it really does, trying to understand not just the words that you're using, but it's trying to infer what you actually meant. I don't know about you, but I discovered that sometimes when my wife says it's fine, it's not. Okay, it's trying to understand the intent behind the words. What did I mean? So we can use this kind of content generator and improver. Folks, what I would encourage you guys to do is just go in here and play with it. Toss some advertising in here, some marketing materials and stuff, and just see what it is with. Then hop into Chat AI and see what it does.
So Chad, so I've used the content genie a few times. In fact, I used it yesterday to help me rewrite some sentences for the press release that we're going to send out next week.
Okay.
What is the difference? Because it seems like this is quite powerful. What is the difference between this content genie and going to chat.openai.com?
You ever seen a magician that has a plant in the audience? I feel like I had a plant in my audience because that was the next question I was headed toward. What is the difference? What we're doing is this. So it's funny, tone of voice, right? Funny, witty, I'll call myself funny. Other people might call me want to be funny. Okay, what is that describes it? So what we did was this. So what we did is we said, hey, all y'all have put in a whole lot of work on these agent profiler profiles. For those of you that mentor and coach, I really strongly recommend that you have them work on their agent profile sooner rather than later. It's probably the best thought exercise an agent can have. Maybe not a noob, but somebody who's got their feet wet and whatnot. It's a great tool. So they put in all this work, right? Let's repurpose it. Now, this will give me an opportunity to discuss with you the difference between ChatGPT 3.5 and 4. ChatGPT 4 is much smarter. It infers more, derives more information. It'll take things further. Okay. ChatGPT 3.5 isn't quite that smart, but it's much faster. ChatGPT 4 is that 200-year-old professor that took you, 10 hours to say hello. Okay. But he gave you a heck of an answer, right? ChatGPT 3.5 is for just quick stuff. The reason I mention that right now is, as you've noticed, this is taking a while. But that's because we're after the quality of the results. We're also building multiple profiles in the back. So right now, what this thing is doing is it's going out to travel leaders. It's reading that profile. It's making note of certifications, backgrounds, reviews, other details about the agent. It's taking a look at how they wrote their introductory paragraph. And now it's trying to generate a profile based on that.
So it's looking at the profile, Chad, and it's going
Right
to
now.
rewrite it, and then it's going to revise it,
Mhm.
or is or it's going to provide a suggested revision based upon what's already written.
So it's going to rewrite it from a table layout basically into prose. It's going to turn it into paragraphs. Then it's going to shorten it. Here we go. So it took
Okay.
all that. It picked up on 20 years of experience, certified cruise specialist, Ireland, Alaska. And if you go over to her profile, these are the things she mentions. Now that we've created this, when we come back into the content genie, it's going to try to apply some of that personality to the output. So for example, in this case, let's say somebody with no experience, somebody 20 years experience uses it. The results should be somewhat different. So what we're doing here is trying to find the agent's voice. Folks, I went out and had it read all my blogs and said, write something like me. I've told you all this, but it cracked me up. It started off with, look, comma, this is serious, period. No, comma, seriously. And I was like, oh my God. But it really will do that. So that's the direction we're heading. Okay. So this is a great way to tune the number of paragraphs. I want this thing longer or shorter. We're doing basic on-page markup level search engine optimization. What is that? Basically bolding words, picking up your keys and stuff like that. My goal here with these About Us pages is, Bella, with our Google, My Business and stuff like that, is to help them leverage their local market and help them speak in their voice while they're discovering their actual voice. Deborah, we went through a lot with this in the Prosper Circle, how much brand investment there is in that voice. And I really started realizing when I started to have writers try to help me with some of my articles that I'm a picky bitch because I have a very particular way of writing those. You know what I mean? And so this system is starting to pick up on some of that. So the next iteration of this, or the next tool coming out, is going to be our offer genie. The idea with that is you go in there and you grab the offer, we're going to try to automate it. And it's going to rewrite it in your voice. And then we have a client profiler coming up next, where you're going to be able to do your client qualification, put in 7 pieces of information, just like the original one, and then start tuning the output to be in your voice, speaking to your brand target. It's all that stuff we tell them to go do, except we're doing it for them. Is this science? Yes, in the sense that it's an experiment. No, in the sense that we're not giving them absolute answers. Okay, this is suggested. This is a starting point. This is not an angry blank page. This is repurposing all that work that you already did. This is a chance for you to go back and think through this. I'm trying to come up with a logo, guys, but at the end of the day, copy paste is evil. It's evil. What will happen is agents will start just sending out a bunch of vanilla crap, and we're all going to go blind to it, just like we did banner ads. We're going to go blind to it like we did banner ads. Deborah and I were talking the other day. There's going to be a tsunami of crap content coming. Well, adequate content, but not good stuff. We want our agents to produce good stuff. So in summary, our tools, content generator, the bio generator, next is the offer generator, specials generator. And then maybe after that, we're going to try to do a specials aggregator. where we can go to the website, your website, chadstravelhut.com, and grab specials off there that might be related to your client. How cool would that be, Deborah? Yeah, you're doing a quote, and here's a couple other little things too, automatically. So real quick, now I want to hop through some of the models, some of the engines that we're using. So there are several hundred different brains out there. Okay, we call them models. Some of them are 3.5 based, some are 4 based, some are more forward, some are kind of more on the backside. Some have better organizational capabilities and stuff like that. At the end of the day, Chat.OpenAI is really good. It's really good. It's really open though too. So another platform we're using, oh, and it is limited to information through the end of 21. Everything from January 22 forward, it doesn't know about unless you tell it to go look at it. Copy AI does. So it's got some Google integrations to it. Oh, hell. It's got some Google integrations to it. So it can actually go out and do a real-time search, get real-time information for you. I'm going to show you, I had to do in quotes yesterday and they were pretty damn good. And then the other one that we're using, I'm sorry, the other place that we started from, and I'll share this with you guys. One sec. Don't you love 2FA during a webinar? There we go. So we had this power prompts document, which is what I started at. Okay, this was me trying to come up with a taxonomy or a standard language we were using. So I'll share this with you guys, and I'd love to see you kind of just go through it, read it, check it out, try not to delete much. But like, for example, BioGenie prompts, where we were testing out all these different things. I'm happy for you to share this with agents, because what we want to do is create a simple, accessible experience so we don't chase everybody off in fear, to Deborah's point, that is very powerful. So we'll show them, you know, the bio generator, see how easy that is? Let me show you the magic behind it. The Chads out there and the Ambers out there are going to go, give me the prompt, run off. Others are going to sit there and say, hey, this is pretty good. You see what I'm saying? We want to appeal to both minds, the analytical one and the one that's kind of more going with the flow. So let's circle back real quick to this copy AI and some of the things I like about it. Oh, one other second. Hold on. Yay. Okay. So ChatGPT 3, 5, and 4 within the OpenAI environment is old school Google. Type, things happen. You get results. Okay. The power's in the question. We come through to copy AI. It's more about projects and sharing templates and stuff like that, which is really important because we need to learn how to do that. This is a great demonstrative way for agents to explore that. The other thing that it does is this. This allows us, without bringing Tim into it, to create an info base. So for example, I've been working on building out my 1967 Volvo. Well, here's everything it needs to know that I'm trying to do. So now this becomes something that I can reference by saying hashtag Volvo. So the idea here is that they can store information and come back to it later. One of the things I really like about this. The other thing I like about it is the way it breaks up tools into categories. That was okay, but I thought we'd go a little bit further, and I came across this, and this blew my effing mind. I was drooling and stammering yesterday more than normal, seriously. So this is that Mad Lib thing, basically. Right, itinerary for 2 people in their 30s going to Pismo Beach, California. I was born and raised there. I know all the local stuff. So I'm kind of gaming it so I can see if it's picking up on the right details, right? 7 nights exclusive of flights, create a table of options, 4-column, da, 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 da. It would give you results from that. But what we did in this case is created an avatar of a travel agent. Now this avatar, this mindset is going to go out and try to answer in a way that somebody who's an experienced travel agent who specializes in Caribbean and European river cruises, has a degree in geography, has this profile or profile, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Preferred stuff from Chad's travelhut.com and all this kind of stuff. So all this goes into the prompt before you start typing anything. So this would prepend what you would do in OpenAI. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. So now from here, look at what happens. It went out, grabbed classic vacations because I asked it to look at that. It grabbed Globus. The Cliffs Resort is probably the most famous hotel in the area. It's also very locals only. Shore Cliff is where you go when you're drunk after you've been at the cliff. In other words, I know this is good. Okay, this is okay. Here's a table of your pricing. Folks, I've even put in other versions of this links to the purchase page where they can go to the vendor and buy it. This is where I got really interested. Okay, because we were sitting there going, well, it can't quote, it can't this, it can't that. Yes, it can. It's real close to doing transactions too. But this is the type of information that we want to be able to, when the client comes up to us and goes, see what I got from AI? You go, yeah, that's cute. Check this out. We're better at the tool than they are. That's the main thing we have to accomplish here, is give the agents the confidence to improve on what their clients hand them. I want to go back to the Expedia days when they'd come out with the dot matrix printout, right? Can you beat that price? Crumple it up, throw it in the trash. Yes. You know what I mean? That I'm better at this than you are. So it comes up with this your itinerary. Offers a wine tasting tour on the side. Offers a wine tasting tour, right? Okay. And then I said, go ahead and put those purchase links in for me so we can write and rewrite. Then I said, write a 12-line poem about the itinerary. Why? Because it had been a long day. But it did. It did. Then I said, create a meme about the trip. Well, it can't do images just yet, but it will give you descriptions of images that you might look for. Huh? What? This is amazing. Talk about a shortcut. Now, think about this down the road where an agent might be able to send somebody a quote and maybe they don't buy it. Okay. Remember how we're always telling them on social media, talk about how excited you are to be building this quote and, share it and all this kind of stuff. Great. Share the itinerary. Here's the post to go with it. I liked doing this quote so much, I had to write a poem. Okay, but we can repurpose and reuse and zhoosh up content almost infinitely. Then as we start looking at things, I started looking at, well, can you tell me all the same stuff in paragraph form? Sure, no tables. Then I started realizing that it can do more than just invent stuff or go out to the internet. I turned it loose on SOS. And I said, can agents with OutsideAgents.com book domestic air? The correct answer is yes. But the answer we give is yes, and be aware of this and watch out for that, da, 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 which it did pretty well here. And so we can tune this over time. So down the road, right, starting next month, we're going to start improving some of the content in SOS. We're going to start using AI to try to answer them when we're in Kayako. So the idea being that we can correct mistakes before we send out the wrong stuff to the agent. Once we have it validated over time, then we can kind of turn it loose.
Yeah, because this answer is a little bit broad. We don't have preferred relationships with airlines. We have consolidators.
Which have preferred relationships. So that's a lack of depth of understanding.
Right.
What it's saying. Right. It'll get smarter.
I mean, they can book domestic flights if they want to. We can't stop them, but we don't have airlines per se.
And so what we would do is at SOS, this question comes in, we'd run it through AI, come back, oh, that's not quite right. And then we would go ahead and tune this up and say, hey, a better answer to my last prompt is the following. Now, that doesn't automatically replace what it said. It's just more recent, more important information. And we can tune it over time to just look at our documents and all that kind of stuff. The point is that this took over 2 minutes to accomplish. Over 2 minutes for it to at least be able to answer the damn question. I can't imagine what was happening when we have a couple hours into this. So kind of in summary, you got chat, OpenAI, that's your kind of workhorse, empty line. You've got copy AI, more structure, more ability to store information in info base, and more ability to organize it, save it, and share it, which is what we're going to be doing a lot of. Then chat org is where I'm able to bring in these avatars to pre-pinned prompts to get better results. We will be using over time a combination of these three applications to test in. One of the things I like about OpenAI is that there's an application we have that Tim's building for us, which is a feedback loop. A month or two ago, we started talking about that brain box, right? Where we could upload images and stuff like that. Good idea, a little before its time. But here with prompts, the idea is real simple. I grab a prompt. I like it. It does a pretty good job. Not too bad for 20 seconds, right? Whoa. But if I come back to it, I really like that, but it just needs a little tuning. Then what I can do is fork it to private. And you hear me saying fork it. Please pay attention to my enunciation. It literally means I'm taking this private path and I'm forking it over this way. So I'm pulling it over to my intellectual property, but I'm giving acknowledgement to the original creator. That's how we stay out of trouble. You know, we're not stealing, we're just deriving. So now, once this thing is done, we're going to call everything outside agents. We can save the prompt, and now we can go and edit it. This is the prompt. It caused all that verbiage you just saw to happen. Now, if I come in here and say, instead of high end, maybe I say budget travel writer, what happens? Based on my agent profile or profile at such and such, what happens? So I'll kind of leave it with this, you know, scientific method, right? Do something, observe it, change one thing about it, do it again. I think there's actually 5 steps. I forget one of them, but you get the idea. Here we can do it, change one thing about it, and try it again. Where agents will bury themselves is going in here and making a bunch of changes to a prompt, and they'll be sitting there going, what the hell happened? You know what I'm saying? So I would encourage them to make simple, methodic, step-by-step adjustments to get to where they need to be. Then let me just show you this one last thing and I'll let you go. We're still pretty close to a Chad 15 minutes. You're kidding me. I can't get in there right now. I'll show it to you. I'll send it out to you. It's just a little outline of the talk we did today. And I sent you guys a copy of a little article I'm working on. Read that article, give me a little bit of feedback, but most importantly, kind of take to heart what it's saying. This ludic, playful approach. And by play, I mean in the Piagetian, Montessorian sense. You know, we're intentionally playing, you know, intentional discovery, that kind of stuff. They have to play. If they try to play in the rules, they'll never get it. If they're looking for the rules, what do I do next? They're never going to get it. Just tell them, try it. Try it. You're not going to break it. Remember in the 90s, Bella, I'm kind of heavy, but in the 90s, everybody's afraid of breaking the internet. You know, oh, I did that. I'm not going to break this. So 3 primary tools. We have two internal tools deployed, another on the way Thursday. Every other Thursday, I'm going to be doing a productivity hacks kind of Chad Lab thing. Oftentimes the topic will be AI, but I don't want to make it. Remember with Nikita, we ran into the thing about, oh, this is just social media. I'm trying to avoid that. So we're going to be talking about productivity and all that kind of stuff this week, featuring AI and some of our new tools. That's about it. Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Cool.
Going back to the bio generator,
Mhm.
just so I can get my head around it. So it's pulling when you type in the name,
Mhm.
and then you accept it. It's pulling. It's basically doing or I should say, is it condensing the entire content of that? I'm sorry. Is it condensing all of the content within that bio into that one paragraph?
No.
It's looking at all of the data.
No, it's not taking all the data. What it is doing, Jared, just real quick, I got to pop this in. Hold on. Sorry, guys, one sec. My security key's jacked up, so I'll try it a different way. No, it's not condensing it all. Much like a human would look at this and grab out the stuff they thought was important, you know, kind of talk about that. So does the machine. So it's looking at it and saying, okay, she has a number of specialties. She repeats this one twice. That's probably more important. It's taking things like bolds. It's taking things like context. Where is it on the page? It's trying to take all that together, much like a human, come up with an executive summary of it.
Okay.
It's written to be slightly persuasive. Now you can adjust that to, hey, be witty, be funny, but all these things that you think are synonymous. Look, synonyms have different words because they have slightly different meanings. Have them try funny versus witty. That's a great example, by the way. It came up. I had it compare a European itinerary last week. One of the hotels seemed pretty nice, or 2 of them. I said, compare these hotels in a table. And it came through, like Bella, she knows, came through and showed me all this stuff. I said, show the differences and be kind of funny about it. And it says, well, this one doesn't have a bidet, but who needs a bidet when you've got a garden hose and Bear Grylls? I was like, that's what I think is funny. It was a try anyhow, but it's going to try to do what you ask it to do.
So Chad, once it comes up with that executive summary, what would be the next step? Are we saying, hey, use this for your about us on your website? Or
It's
change
exactly
your bio to, or you can change your bio in Agent Profiler to this executive summary. So in other words, we're coming back with this executive summary based upon their Agent Profiler profile, and they can use this in other in other resources.
Yes, this is designed for their About Us page. Real quick, I'm going to let Bella kind of expand on this, but local search is something our agents should own. If they're not dominating a mile around them, something's wrong. And we can accomplish some of that here, especially in smaller towns and rural areas. At the very least, it's an About Us page.
So this is the elevator speech, basically.
Yeah, roughly. Just like an About Us page, you can have a little call to action. I would tell an agent, this is cute, this is okay, but you might want to put something in there about your history, your specialties, the fact that you're local. Just shoot up.
Your location.
Your location would be nice, you know?
Right.
But this is a great thing. So now we have this information and we can pop it on over to Facebook. And it's slow as hell. It's that GTV4. It'll get faster. But now to repurpose it to Facebook's link recommendations. Now it's been shortened and it just grabs what it thinks is most important. Now we know that Facebook loves emojis, one-click emojis, and they're intelligent emojis. They're reading the words and trying to figure out if you're smiling or crying or what. And so they're toss them in there. And what's the thing with emojis? It's about a 11% bump in conversions, Bella, something like that.
Something like that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I couldn't find the unmute button.
It's a
but
few
yeah.
percent. And for our agents, the sum of several few percents is the goal.
All right. So it's creating these executive summaries basically for other applications for them to use. It's not, see, I thought this was helping them rewrite their profile or profile. That's not what it is. So I'm glad I took part. This is basically taking their profile or information and putting it into a summary in which they can use in other third-party applications. That's what this is.
Yes.
Okay.
Now here's something funny. I'm just going to try this live and in real time in front of everybody, because that always works out great. Let's see. Let's say I said,
Okay.
hold on a sec.
Now I get it. It's all visual for me, man. I got to see this stuff.
If I want it, I'm just going to try this because I think it'll be real interesting. Because play, you know, if it looks fun, go do it. This is what agents need to do. Let's grab this thing here. Guys, see that question in there? So I'm going to die here in OpenAI's environment, because it's going to try to read that. But I think Copy AI is going to do a better job. But Jared, to your point, go grab your profile. Begin with a captivating introduction, showcase your experience and your credentials, highlight your specialties in niche areas. These are all not bad recommendations. A little generic, maybe, but a hell of a starting point for an agent.
Yeah, this is pulling from the Travel Leaders website, isn't it?
In this case, well, let's compare the results.
Because I was going to say that looks like the training I used to do.
It could be. OpenAI fibs a little bit more. And fibbing isn't a bad thing, guys. It's called hallucinating. It's what teenagers do all the time. And it's what alcoholics do the next morning. We don't remember every step of every day. But we remember, even though I was blackout drunk last night, that I would never slap a woman, so I didn't. We know that this travel agent wants to do this, that, and the other, so it just pads stuff in as best it can. Now, here you go. In Copy AI, it went through in real time, scanned that document. And now you'll notice it's moving a little slower. We're in chat 4. Let's add a captivating tagline. You see how these are more specific?
Yeah.
Than that. You know, the captivating introduction. But that's very generic to me. This seems more, for example, creating unforgettable travel experiences. So it gives an example. So this would be, for me, guys, the big goal of this is not the About Us page. It's not a Facebook bio. It's about an About Us page that needs a little work and some tools to improve it. This is about not giving them a business plan, but giving them a place to go think through that business plan with somebody other than one of us. This is about improving on the machine. When we teach them that they're in control of this machine, of this teenager, they're going to become very powerful agents. Think about our agents and how absolute they are. Some of them are going to get in here and nail down some details and get some amazing results. So I'm just encouraging us to say, hey, here's this, that, and the other. I wonder what would happen if You asked the machine this. And I took a risk right in front of you guys, and it didn't go too badly. Teach them to play. So we'll probably do these about once a week. I'm going to try to keep it down to 20 minutes moving forward. I got a little distracted today, but I had an outline and everything, I promise. The point being that this is infinite, guys. It's freaking infinite. So there is no explaining it. There's just exploring it. And so we're going to keep on doing that on a weekly basis. I'd love to have some kind of chit chat with you guys, you know, I don't know if a thread or what, but a place where we can dump ideas, thoughts. At the very least, put a steno pad next to you. You're going to accidentally come across some amazing stuff, I promise. All right.
Thanks, Chad.
Very
Good
cool,
Yeah.
guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank
Good
you.
stuff.
Okay. All right, bye.